I am Mohini Herson. I am calling from Dublin, Ireland. I was born on the 28th of August 1958 in Delhi. My native language is Tamil, but English is my first language. I last spoke to my father on 22nd January 2024. He answered yes when I asked if he could stand up, and no to my question whether he was okay. He went on to explain what was not okay, but his voice was faint and his speech was slurred. I could not follow him. My father's 90th birthday was on 18th of January 2024. My 90th birthday card had failed to arrive by 15th January. I was told Royal Mail had slow delivery from Ireland. That day I resent the birthday card by registered post. On his birthday my father said, "It does not matter if I never see your 90th birthday card. I know and remember by your intention." At that point, I was sure my father's 90th birthday card would arrive in days or at most weeks. Either the first or the second one, or both. But my father may have become psychic when he commented that he may never see my 90th birthday card. The next morning he called ambulance and was discharged from Royal Berkshire Hospital in January. He was not well enough to live alone and went to stay with his younger child, Viju Whiteley. Viju was born on the 19th of June 1962 in Delhi. Stephen Whiteley, her husband, has worked with the atomic weapons all his life and their home is in that part of the country. Viju is a chartered accountant with Thames Valley Water. My father's house is around 6 to 12 miles distant from my sister, but she is in the borough of Hampshire and my father is in West Berkshire, RG postcode. I spoke to my father on 21st evening and evening of 22nd. I spoke to my father on 21st evening and in the morning and evening of 22nd January. He didn't answer the phone since. However, on 26th January, I found 2 SMS from my father's mobile saying he is at a remote location in Cornwall where there is no signal. When he returns home, he said he will resume talking to me on my WhatsApp. My father was meaning he would talk to me once he comes back to West Berkshire. My mobile phone is rudimentary and does not show dates. I found my father's SMS 2 days after speaking to Basingstoke Police Control Room on the 24th of January night. By January end, a friend in London wrote snail mail letter to the Whiteley's home after encountering a recording on their landline saying this phone is inactive. I have not heard from Dad since. Those SMS of 26 January, I take this as proof my father did not return to West Berkshire. I left a message on his landline yesterday. Today is the 15th of February 2024, but I feel sure my parents' 5-bedroom house is empty and nobody lives there. I think the landline is preset to run to voicemail since there is nobody there. I asked about my birthday card, but I feel sure he has not seen it. I remember his words as he said, "I may never see the birthday card." Now I realize my father has died or is in Cornwall or is with the Whiteleys in their Hampshire home. If he is in Cornwall, he is with them as he could not go alone. Before going to RBH on 19th January, that is Royal Berkshire Hospital, he could hardly walk. His condition has not gotten better and he is not going places alone. If my father is alive either in Cornwall or Hampshire, he may be restricted from using his mobile by Viju Wortley at least to contact me. The other possibility is Viju was able to convince my father I am no good and not to contact me. It tears me out to try my father's mobile in case he is dead. I feel his phone would still be alive and nobody would answer it. It would be in Viju's possession and she would not do a citizen's duty and inform me father is dead. No matter what calling, my father will not help me to find out if he's okay. I dread more and more since I feel my father's silence has become permanent. I feel he will never call again. I want someone to do a live and well check on my father, assuming he is at the Wortleys. I don't know their mobiles or their address in Cornwall, which would be a tourist cottage at a remote location. I also want the legal right to speak to my father once a day if he is alive, without Viju getting mad at him. It is unlikely he has lost his mind. I think Alzheimer's is less common in Indians and my parents did not have it. The Basingstoke police said they will not do a live and well check because I am not declaring my sister a threat to my father's safety. I lack women's intelligence, which I think involves always using the safety catchphrase and open sesame, all doors open for you. Of course, bloody hell, I don't know if she's a threat to my father's safety. I don't know the woman from Adam except she lied to police in 2013 about me and never showed up in court nor provided evidence of her allegations. If she is a risk to my father's safety, Stephen Wortley would pose the same threat, although he is more adult than her and more responsible. I did not feel my father was safe living alone with advanced heart failure and hardly being able to move. What if people like that slip and fall? They won't get up again. My father refused me the right to get him a carer or buy UK elder alarm protecting against undetected falls. He said he wants no fuss, no visitors. My father had given the neighbors a set of house keys, so if they don't see him one day, they can enter his house to check if he's alive. On his birthday, my father confirmed he did not mind answering my calls when Vijay could observe him. What I am sure of is that Dad will have to toe the line when living under Vijay's roof, such as not contacting me. I am sure Vijay does not like him contacting me. I hope Dad does the smart thing for him. I want to speak to him. I want a social worker to enter my sister's house, maybe once a week, to report how Dad is to me, as he does not appear to be well enough to go home and live by himself at RG 31. In 2013, my sister told lies to the police which resulted in a trumped-up conviction at Basingstoke Magistrates on 8 July 2013. The name of the conviction was harassment without violence. As a punishment, I was tagged electronically for 4 months. When these 4 months had almost ended, I was served with the notice IS 151C at Eden House Reporting Centre. The reason was deportation for the public good. The reason was not clearly provided. Viju's conviction was mentioned. IS 151C is the name of a particular immigration notice pertaining to administrative removal. Administrative removal is a synonym for deportation. IS 151C is part of a set of immigration notices. IS 151A, B, C, and D. I think they are like ready, steady, on your marks, go. I was taken to Yarwood IDC for deportation to India. My father hired Malik Law in Southall with a fat retainer. Like fat lawyers with fat retainers normally work, I was released in 3 weeks, but no real change to my immigration status into the UK. Malik Law was shut down by the Solicitors Regulator Authority and Professor Malik is available for consultation on his own. All this is legal information. It will not be relevant to the public. They will not want to know about legal cases. It may terrify the public. I provide legal information to indicate that I will be outspoken until I have nothing left to declare, for the better or for the worse. A common mistake of people is feeling whoever sounds smart is probably a dangerous criminal. They are more prejudiced in that way towards women. Some people told me I sound smart. Do you really think so? I don't think I sound smart, but you cannot expect, just as you cannot expect Africans to be anything but black. I think black is probably the best color to be. You can expect me to sound anything but appealing because I am a physics graduate. That is from Manchester, 1983, and I have a master's degree in maths from elsewhere. I live in the UK for 14 years, from 2004 to 2008. The Home Office did not give me a right to work when my spouse visa expired in 2016 November. At this time, my relationship with my spouse was not something which would have had me deported. However, I was living with another partner. This meant the Home Office would dispute or need to decide if I am allowed a second relationship. This meant there could be a dispute if I should continue to live in the UK and be subjected to reporting restrictions until my claim to stay with my new partner was decided. That is what happened, sort of. I am a member of a coveted species, particularly in the UK, to whom women are so important. They covet and promote women in physics even if they are mediocre, and I am one of them. So one says it is very odd I should be refused a right to work in the UK. I am sure if they wanted me to work, they would tolerate me having a partner. The point to note is my expulsion from the Institute of Physics took place before denying right to work. Some people said it is a terrible thing. I have been advised by a lawyer that this institute could decide if I worked in the UK and even seal my deportation. Their expulsion their expulsion was from membership and not employment. Their stated reason was bringing the institute into disrepute. It means you did what they do not like by criticizing them in a publication, blog, or web page. It is not a moral offense. So they can sue me for slander and win, even if I told the truth about them, because they are a big institute with plenty of money. But big people and big institutes seldom sue small fry. Expulsion is a normal course of action. Since physics practice does not need a license, there is no way to legally expel you from that profession. I am not like the crowds that swoon at the Institute of Physics public gigs. These would not turn me on, like the guys who told me they would gladly eat crumbs off a physicist's table, like the silly girls that joined communicating physics. Of course, they are free to choose what they like, but I am not one of them. I am an insider in some sense to the Institute of Physics and know stuff about them very few would understand. I had gained emotional maturity at the time of my expulsion and was not a novice looking for and receiving thrills. When I was a school kid, a boy aged 10 in my school was expelled for arson since he set the school library on fire. I am not like that school kid. I said all this so people realize my personality would be unattractive and to urge you to contemplate this is not something dangerous. For example, I had a very bad lawyer during proceedings at Basingstoke Magistrate, a young Indian who was doing his best to get me locked up. Had I not dismissed him, I would have got 6 months jail. I learned shortly after winning the struggle to dismiss him that they had planned 6 months jail that day. Much later, I was told that 6 months was the jail was the minimum sentence under the law for compulsory deportation. It was also the maximum sentence one could give somebody in the UK for harassment. By awarding the worst possible sentence for harassment in the UK, my lawyer and many others were petitioning for my destruction. The young man whose representation I stopped alleged that I had the power to hack NASA and atomic weapons. It is absurd. I would hit the world records like Julian Assange and Edward Snowden if I could. Besides, no woman has made it there so far. By being a physics graduate, I have become more computer savvy than the average person, although we did not have mobiles and PCs when I graduated from UMIST in 1983. But I have not studied hacking and cannot do more than an average person. How can you be sure? I suppose you could remain terrified, but this young lawyer's allegations were absurd. I hope someone in the UK is going to understand that these superpowers assigned to me are freaking absurd. They played a snakes and ladders game while Viju Watley tried through her protection officer to airlift me to India straight from Basingstoke magistrates as soon as I presented for a voluntary appointment with that WPC. I know this seems okay to some people, but I was not allowed appeal rights, nor subject access request rights. To have the appeal, a lawyer I consulted in a small town below Winchester about appealing blew his top when I told him the mental health assessment ordered by the WPC, which men police insisted I had a legal right to refuse, was not done by a registered nurse or a registered mental nurse. A person needs to be sentenced before they can have a criminal conviction. If you did a handwriting analysis of the signatures on the charge sheet bits signed as Viju Watley and Stephen Watley, you will see that he signed as if he was her. Both the signatures are in his writing. I had written a letter to my sister to stop harassing me, and she scanned it and removed the signature and date and gave it to the police, claiming I sent it anonymously. All the statements she claimed I made are grossly uncharacteristic of my vocabulary and personality. I was purposely denied justice by the British system. Fake convictions are rare. It takes more than a woman's lying tongue to achieve a conviction. A confluence of various factors is needed. I plan to make a separate video about my conviction. I want this to be seen ASAP. I want a legal right to do live and well check on my father through someone in the UK, as well as speak on the phone to my father without any risk of harassment to him from my sister. I have no way of getting a lawyer. The Law Society and search engine is not working good and the human operator is not on. She also does not know how to help. Explaining stuff to a legal secretary too is tough because she needs everything explained in 2 words, which is hard for me. In the end, I can't get a lawyer. They want to refer me to probate, and one email back she needs 800 for discussing the situation. Probate lawyers are looking for millionaires to get 1% of their estate and will reduce me to tears, but they luckily won't be coming on the phone before payment. I don't understand the legal terms or they expect to understand it all. They are not the sort of lawyer I need. In the end, there may be no area of law to cover me, and it has always been like that. I also don't have much money as I am registered disabled in Ireland. This was achieved with a doctor's letter. The stated medical conditions were not related in any way to psychology, psychiatry, mental health agencies, organizations, and women's diseases of the upper attic. I will be obliged to get to speak to my father, and if someone can help even get a lawyer to contact to help with this matter, I can send up to 500.